Hello everyone and welcome back to our Chloé Tote CAL. We are meeting today for very last finishing touches. We're doing the lettering on front of our bags. Of course you don't have to do this step, but it adds a nice touch of personalization. So you can choose whatever lettering you like on top. Of course you can also put Chloé on top. I did choose a different word here. So let's dive in. And I'll share a quick overview of what we'll need today. So of course you need your yarn and your wire. I have listed the exact wire that I bought on Amazon. It's 4mm aluminum wire, which is 2 meters long. Depending on what word you're choosing to letter on top of your bag, you might need more or less than what I have here. I will do exactly the same word that I chose for my first bag onto the second bag as well. And you also need a hot glue gun and some hot glue just to make sure that the paper yarn is properly fastened to your wiring, and it also will be used to glue your final lettering to the top of your bag. And what I also recommend is some paper and a pencil or something. I recommend to letter out your word first. You can even cut it out and put it on your bag and out how you like it, which size you like, which kind of font you like, and then you can easily bend your wire on this template that you've written. What you can also do alternatively in a computer application you have, just type your word out there and print it out and then cut it out and put it on your bag. That gives you already kind of a template font to work from if you're not comfortable with your own handwriting. So just make sure to give this some thought. Whatever you do, you can also do your initials or whatever feels right to you. You could also just do a symbol. Make sure it's something that's meaningful for you because you will carry it around a lot. And with that, let's get started. And we'll turn over the camera again so you have a top-down view on what I'm doing. So as you can see, I'm not trying to get it perfect the first time around. I'm just trying to hit the general shape of what I want to achieve, and it's pretty close to where we want to go. And what I'll do next is I'll refine that a bit, just kind of rolling the aluminum wire over my crochet needle, rolling it over the edge of my table just to make sure it's all smoothened out. If you have a little hammer or something, then that could be helpful too. Whatever tools are helpful for you, just be creative. If there are minor little bumps, that doesn't matter. Your font will, you see here, I have a little bump in here as well, but it's almost not noticeable because once we start wrapping our yarn around, it will conceal some of the irregularities. But make sure that you are really happy with how the entire front sits. Refine it as long as you need until you have it gotten into its very final shape and you're happy to have it sit like this on your bag. So this is a bit the non-crochet handyman part of this bag. Let's work on further refining our lettering, and once you are comfortable, we're coming back and I'll show you how to wrap and glue your yarn around. So just a little tip on how to get your lettering flat, because it might curve a little bit, is, I mean, you could use a hammer if you have something like that, but you could also use just any can you have. This is tomatoes. I'm not banging it very hard on the surface because it's not super tough, but if you have a stone floor or something, or just go outside, put it on the floor, and then bang it with your can so that it's really nice and flat. You can see here it's super even now, and this is what we want to achieve, because we don't want it to create this warped shape, otherwise it will get hard for us to glue it to the bag later. So we want to have it as flat as possible, even where two wires overlap each other. Just make sure they're as pressed as much as you can. And with that, we're powering up our hot glue. Make sure to protect your surfaces. I will put something underneath here now, and then we can get started. Okay, what we want to do now is make sure that we secure our yarn to our wire. And of course we can just wrap it and hope for the best, but I can promise you it will not hold. And the worst of all would be if you had fastened your lettering to the bag, and then after a few days or a few times of carrying the bag, it starts to peel. So we definitely do want to avoid that. What we want to make sure of is that we're not using any scrunched up yarn for this wrapping exercise. We really want to use the fresh one that is as broad as possible. So I just use it as it comes from the cone, that's fine. But if it would be in this state, kind of very small and condensed, you have a very hard time wrapping it neatly around your wire and avoiding bulk shaping. So we're using fresh yarn for that. So now I'm just ripping off a part of the yarn, and then once that's finished, I start gluing on the next one. We are starting here with the top of our whatever letter you are starting with. I'm basically putting glue here, and then we are putting the yarn like this on top. Then we wrap the edge, this tiny edge, a little bit, and then we wrap the entire yarn, and with that we move forward and wrap it across the entire lettering. So my hot glue is hot, putting a little bit here. Pressing my yarn on top. I will cut this remaining piece, and now I'll start wrapping the yarn. For me, this is how it worked well the first time. So with that, we are starting this kind of wrapping motion. And I'd like to put just some glue on top here and then secure it once more. And bend those edges in a little bit. And then we start wrapping. I don't glue for every single wrap, but every 3 or 4 wraps, I choose to add again some glue. And then we continue with the wrapping motion. If you don't have hot glue, I think you can also probably use some super glue. Just have to be very careful that you don't hurt yourself and that it doesn't wet your paper yarn too much, because otherwise it will rip. I also recommend to wrap the yarn, you can see it here, with some tension. That will ensure it looks very neat and clean afterwards. And at the same time doesn't pucker and loosen up and create holes. And that's basically the secret. We continue on like this until we have our entire lettering wrapped. So when I come towards the end of my yarn, I just fold it out like this and try to put it as flat around as possible. So I'll just put the new yarn over the old one like this and then start wrapping it again so that it's tight and secure. So yeah, this is what we are going to do for the next few hours. It might take a while depending on what you're lettering, and I'm meeting you once I'm done. So we're gluing step by step. Always find where your letter is hitting a piece of the mesh. Put a little bit of glue there and then press your letter on top until it's hardened. Just do that slowly and step by step, carefully, so it doesn't look messy afterwards. And sometimes that will be a full stitch, and sometimes it will be just a little dip and a little drop of glue, connection point, depending on where your lettering hits your fabric. Okay, where your letters overlap, just glue them slightly together as well. The really good thing about the wire is that it's stable, but it's also still bendable. So even with your finished bag, you could bend it without kind of breaking everything, and I think that's a huge advantage, but it's still super stable and will hold its shape without any problems. Just ensure that nothing is glued together in the middle towards the back of your bag. We really don't want to ruin it with this last task that we're completing. Once you've glued everything on top of the bag, hold your bag upright. Make sure if you turn it over, everything slips, there are no gaps appearing, everything feels stable and secure. Especially if you have small parts of letters that you have to add, make sure that those are really thoroughly secured. Yeah. Other than that, that's it. Okay, everyone, that concludes our very last video on the Chloé Tote CAL, and by now you should have your bag ready to go, and I'm so excited to see some pictures where you wear it and how you accessorize and style it. Please don't forget to tag me, use the hashtag and tag me with my handle Mrs. Fanny Valentine so I can see it and reshare your pictures. I have loved to go on this journey with you. It was an amazing adventure and I'm so proud of you being so brave to just join along. You've seen the light change in the background. You've seen like my hair being frizzy and up and down and everything. So thank you for making it through a week's worth of videoing with me and a week's worth of crafting a bag and something that's hopefully meaningful to you and that literally carries your spirit, your braveness and the signature of your hand. And I hope it inspires you to go through your days with the boldness and the creativity that you already have in you. I hope to see you soon, and thanks again for joining. Have a lovely day or evening wherever you are. See you. Bye.